Happy Halloween, ladies and gentlemen. Wake Up Mintzy, presented by the fine folks of Dude Wipes and Stella Blue. Let your freak flag fly. It's one of my favorite holidays of the year. The people that are too cool for Halloween just freaking suck in my mind. I don't care if you're a 3-year-old kid, 12 years old, 22, 32, or even a 41-year-old. Man like myself, Halloween, one of the great holidays. Love it. Fired up to be in the Barstool Chicago office. We've got like gale force winds outside, and it's going to storm like crazy. So I don't know what kind of omen that is, but fired up to be here. Slugging some Stella Blue. Shout out Stan's Donuts and Coffee. You can get Stella Blue Positive Vibes light roast there. Get that every morning. Love Stan's and Stella Blue. Of course, winning combo. We got Dude Wipes to clean up whatever messes we get into today. Amazon, Target, Walmart, nationwide. Let it rip with Dude Wipes. Final day of the Dumpling Spice flavor. Dude Wipes, Stella Blue. I mean, only in America. Two of the best sponsors you could have. We're joined by Tyler Moody from Louisiana, who's going to pop up in a second. Brandon Walker going to join us as we get ready for college football week 10. Feel like some crazy stuff could happen on Halloween weekend. Starting last night, well, a few things that were funny from last night. Went to a big Stu Feiner dinner on Wednesday, and my dumb ass, I mean, I don't know. I was stone cold sober, and it took me, I had to go to 3 restaurants to figure out where he was. It was absurd. Like he texted me Green Street on the phone, so I went to Green Street local, and he was like, "Are you skipping this meal?" Stu's yelling at me like, "How dare you skip this dinner?" And feeling insulted. I'm like, "Man, I'm here. I'm at Green Street." He's like, "That's not where we are. We're at this Sunday like Asian restaurant." So it's like, "Okay, I'll be there in 10 minutes." Go to the Asian restaurant. There's 2 locations, and I went to the wrong one. So finally got there like 45 minutes late. Just unreal. You'd think if I was being sober, I'd be able to not have incidents like that. But finally made it. Great dinner with Stu and crew last night. Always awesome to see him. Happy birthday to Megan making money. And that, one of the signs from the universe, Megan making money being a Halloween baby is quite fitting. But she's awesome. Love Megan. Obviously, we go back to Louisiana even before Barstool. One of my best friends at Barstool, one of the most genuine people I've ever met. She's selfless, gives so much love to others, and love that she got a big birthday celebration on Quick Picks yesterday. She deserves it. So y'all say happy birthday to Megan Making Money online today, and hope she feels loved on her birthday because she certainly deserves it. All right, World Series ending last night. We're waiting on Moody to pop up on here to talk about this. The Dodgers getting it done in Game 5. Whole bunch of stuff to get into with this one. I mean, the Yankees, with Garrett Cole going as a big favorite, have a 5-0 lead. Aaron Judge finally gets a 2-run homer in the first. Felt like everything was fine, and then their defense started playing Little League baseball. And ultimately, when you look back at the series, the Dodgers went 4-1. The defensive mistakes in Game 1 and Game 5, I mean, the Yankees have no one but themselves to blame. I mean, they could easily be up 3-2, headed back to the Dodgers. Instead, the Dodgers win their first World Series since the COVID one in 2020. And let's get to it. Moody, you're not surprised the Dodgers won. You loved them going into the series. But on the Yankees front, man, if you're a fan or part of that team, you're going to be really thinking about this for a long time because what the hell happened in that? Was, I believe, the 6th inning last night?
The fifth. The fifth is whenever everything just fell apart for the Yankees. And honestly, it's kind of a microcosm of the Yankees season because they had mistakes the entire year. They just happened to be in the American League where there was incredibly weak this season, and they took full advantage of that. So I'll be honest with you. I'm not surprised to see the Yankees melt down like that by any means. I'm not surprised to see their defense be what let them down. They were pretty poor defensively for big chunks of the season. I hate it for Garrett Cole because he was giving them everything that he had in this series. He was phenomenal in Game 1. He was tremendous last night as well, and then things just unraveled on the back end defensively. And the Yankees choked that game away. They choked away Game 1. They choked away Game 5. But that is not to discredit the Los Angeles Dodgers, everything they put together this season. And they lived up to expectation. And sometimes living up to that expectation is the hardest thing to do whenever you're supposed to win it. Not a lot of teams that are supposed to win it in any sport find a way to win it. The Dodgers did that. Credit to Freddie Freeman, the MVP. I mean, what a series from him. One of the good guys in baseball. I'm happy for Freddie. Mookie kept them focused. Mookie was great in the series. It wasn't really Shohei Ohtani that showed up and balled out and carried them. He was great in, leading up to the World Series, but it was Mookie and Freddie and the rest of that lineup that really did their part to make the Dodgers World Series champions. And well-deserved, man. The Dodgers freaking deserve it.
Oh, no, and when you look back, because baseball, such a sport with variance year after year, especially in the playoffs. I mean, this Dodgers run, what is this, about 12 years now? They've been on this, like, insanely top level. This is their second World Series, but they've been this good for a while. They went out, spent the money on Ohtani, and then you also got to give the Dodgers credit. I mean, Tyler Glasnow, maybe one of the best pitchers in baseball, and Kershaw out. You're without two of your top starters, and I know that's part of the deal when you get to October, but to win, still saying like this top pitching is what wins it in October, and they were without two of their top guys, and they still easily got it done.
Yeah, I actually had Tyler Glasnow to win the National League Cy Young this year. That was my bet for NL Cy Young. So to see him go down, midway through the season, whenever he was pitching phenomenally before he went down, really did suck. And listen, if the Dodgers would have had Glasnow in this series, it wouldn't have even. I mean, they would have swept them probably. They would have found a way to win 4 straight. But yeah, you got to give the Dodgers credit because they had hiccups along the way, man. They had issues as well, and they got it done. And I'm going to bow out of the way and let you boys talk some college football while the great Brandon Walker's there.
Yeah, I'll give Brandon the great intro. I think that's fair. What's up, Brandon? Good morning. Thank you for joining us here on Happy Halloween.
I thought the show was called Wake Up Mintzy.
The show is called Wake Up Mintzy.
Well, you just called it Happy Halloween. What's your costume?
This is the first one.
Vince. Go turn his mic on.
Okay, I'll get it.
Who's this person talking?
Your mic's off.
Your mic's off. Unbelievable. So he's turning my mic on. I'm watching Ben Mintz try to turn a mic on.
It's on.
He thinks it's on. So we're going to go forward like it's on. My hair is not great today.
You always have good hair days.
What's up?
Doing good, man.
So this is phase 1 of the costume?
This is phase 1. The Yak costume contest at 12:30 today. So I'm going to the Chicago costume shop after this for the real thing. They said there's a cash prize. Personally, I know this is hard to believe, but I'm a huge Halloween guy. I'm a let your freak flag guy.
You got it. Just careful.
Let your freak flag fly.
There you go.
Jersey Day is always on Thursdays on Mostly Sports.
It is. I didn't dress up for Halloween because I just think it's a little. What's going on with your headphones?
It's hard to fit around this hat, but I got to keep the hat.
Can you hear the headphones?
Yeah, I can hear them. I don't need them now that I don't have Moody, but yeah, I got the top hat. I'm feeling the kind of U.S. Blues theme. A little patriotic to start the day.
Sure. I didn't dress up for Halloween because I think it's really, really silly to just change the way you dress normally for just another day on the calendar.
Do you really?
Yeah, and plus it's Jersey Day.
Well, y'all have got a thing with the Jersey Day that's one of y'all's most established traditions. But, obviously you have kids and stuff. Do they like Halloween?
Yeah, they like it fine.
Okay.
They like it fine. I'll have to leave early to go take them to wherever we're going tonight. I haven't been informed where we're going, but we'll figure it out as we go, I guess.
Hell yeah. Well, let's get to it. So
Let's get to it.
College football this week. Ohio State, Penn State, the headliner. No doubt about it. A lot of weird stuff in this game.
A lot of weird stuff.
Drew Aller, game time decision.
Yeah.
Got to give Penn State some credit, though. They were down 10-7 at the half at Wisconsin without their starting quarterback. Seemed like a spot where they might lose. Granted, that pick 6 Wisconsin threw kind of flipped the game. Penn State's backup, more mobile. Looked like he threw the ball okay. Will Howard for Ohio State, a Pennsylvania guy, did not get recruited by Penn State.
Yeah.
Already talking about that. Ohio State, I believe, a 3.5-point favorite on DraftKings. I'm of the opinion that until James Franklin actually wins one of these games, I got to see it to believe it.
Yeah, that's fine, but nobody breaks through until they break through, and you don't want to be holding the bag when they do. But it's tough for me. I'm a believer. I've been a believer in the last few years in both these teams. I believed in Penn State in these spots before. They haven't come through. I believed in Ohio State in these spots before, and only against Penn State really have they come through. I look at this particular game, and if I'm going weapon for weapon, dude for dude, Penn State's got a great tight end, probably the best tight end in the country. He's incredible. But if I'm going weapon for weapon, the more weapons are on Ohio State's side. And I know their offensive line's a problem, and I know the left tackle being hurt is an issue, and Penn State's defensive line's fucking great. I think it's a knockdown, drag-out 17-13 game. I don't think I'm going to bet it, but I would pick Ohio State.
Yeah, if it goes to 3, I'm going to take Ohio State. I don't want to lay 3.5 on the road. Yeah. Over-under's like 45. So I don't want to lay the 3.5, but if it does go to 3, I think that's kind of the key number.
Let's talk the biggest gambling spots of the weekend, because the biggest gambling spots, Arkansas is one of them. Like Arkansas +7 at home coming off. Arkansas hasn't been good in a while. Ole Miss coming in top 15 or whatever they are. It's not historically a great place for you guys.
It's always that battle, and I just brought it up in Ohio State, Penn State. When you're gambling, I think the history matters with teams struggling places, but then it's always different teams, different people.
Yeah.
And so I get in this argument with people a lot, but I'm a believer in that stuff. I'm not. Look, I just hope Ole Miss pulls this out. I'm not taking Ole Miss -7. I never bet against my school. I am nervous about the game. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm not. There's a horrible history in Fayetteville. 70% chance of rain as well. Not going to be cold. On the Ole Miss side, not sure if Trey Harris is going to be able to go. And if he can't go, the passing games looked really, really clunky. I'd also like to bring up under 53.5 in the spot because the little secret here, Ole Miss's all their SEC games are flying way under the total. They do have a stout defensive line.
7 of Ole Miss's 8 games have gone under. Did you know that?
I believe it. And the thing is, in all the SEC ones, not just have gone under. 37 points in Kentucky game, 40 in Oklahoma, 30 in South Carolina. LSU had 55, even though it went to overtime, still went under by 8. And if Harris is hopefully Harris can go, but if he's out, I think you're looking at like a 23-20 type game. I just hope Ole Miss pulls it out.
You know what my favorite bet of the whole weekend is?
What's that?
It's Auburn -7.
Wow, went 7.
I think everybody in the world is going to look at Vanderbilt, who beat Alabama, who competed against Texas, who competed against other teams, who beat Kentucky. They're going to look at Vanderbilt. They're going to look at Diego Pavia, and they're going to look at Auburn and say, you're giving me 7 points in Vanderbilt? Well, the reason is Vandy fake covered against Texas. Let's be honest. They fake covered. It was they had a pick six to go down 17 with 3 minutes to go. That got taken off the board by a penalty, and then they scored a meaningless touchdown late, and they lost by 3. They didn't really lose that game by 3. They looked like shit against Ball State. They lost to Georgia State on the road. They beat Kentucky, sure. They beat Alabama. That's all great. But they have shown ability to have some stinkers. Auburn is quietly getting a little competent down there. Well, they went on the road, beat Kentucky by 2 touchdowns. Hugh Freeze is getting just the defense has been good the whole time. Now Hugh Freeze is getting a little bit out of the offense, and the fact that Auburn, who has struggled all year, is -7 against Vanderbilt, it's Auburn all day long. I love Auburn.
These Vandy lines have been interesting because their power ranking is so low, and you see it every week. I mean, they're catching 19 against Texas, 12.5 at Kentucky, 7 here. My thing on it, look, I don't know that Vandy can win the game. Vandy's just every game they've been an underdog, they've covered, and every game they're a favorite, they suck and don't cover.
Yeah.
That's been a trend with them. And the thing with Pavia did beat, I don't know that New Mexico State Auburn matters so much right now, but he did beat them last year. And then he actually was, I think he was the quarterback 2 years ago when they beat Liberty when Freeze was there. So he's 2-0 against him. Jerry Kill on the Vandy staff seems like he's pretty familiar. So I would lean Vandy, but I'm not like going to war over that one.
I like Stanford +12 at NC State.
Do you? How can NC State lay 12 against anybody?
You just took away my point. I know Stanford isn't any great shakes, but Stanford has they've shown the ability to go on the road and compete in the ACC. Didn't they win at Syracuse?
They did. They won at Syracuse, and then when the Daniels kid's healthy, they're not like horrible.
Yeah.
They fought. I think they lost by 3 last week at home to Wake.
Stanford fights is what my point is, and NC State doesn't really. So Stanford +12 against NC State on the road is appealing to me.
Okay, I got a few I want to run through with you to see what you think.
Go.
First one's home underdog. Syracuse is a weird place to play. 11 a.m. kick, +4 at home against Virginia Tech. Just seems like a kind of a weird spot.
It is a weird spot, and how much of that absolute meltdown in the first half by Kyle McCord plays into it, because he's better than that. And, hell, he was better than that in the second half. I know he threw 5 picks in total. But Virginia Tech also kind of stirring a little bit. Like they did this last season where they started off whatever, and they finished strong, and now they're at the part of the schedule where they finished strong last year. That's a stay away from me.
Okay.
But if I were going to do it, Virginia Tech I think they're stirring pretty good, so I would probably go Virginia Tech.
All right, I want to ask about this interesting one. This is just like a spot thing because so much of college football and gambling is like the way situations are.
Right.
All right, Duke's +21 at Miami,
Yeah.
11 a.m.
Yeah.
11 a.m. is always that snoozer, laxy home effort. Yeah. Miami's awful. I mean, granted, Florida State stinks, but they get really up for that rivalry game. I'm not saying Duke can win this game.
Yeah.
What I am saying is Miami has had a lot of slow first halves this year. They got down against Cal. They struggling against Louisville. Virginia Tech was up early on them. It seems like I could see like Duke fighting first half, maybe Duke first half bet, or Duke even money line first half bet. I don't know that they can win the game. Like I think Miami's had some strong second halves, but I feel like you might see I could see a sleepy Miami first half effort. 11 a.m. on
Everybody
Friday.
you said there, Cal, who's
Louisville, it was a Cal, Louisville,
Yeah.
Virginia Tech.
I think all of them have at least one dynamic offensive player.
Yeah, Duke doesn't have any of that.
And Duke doesn't have anything like that. Duke doesn't have anything that's going to make you sweat. Also, I don't know if it matters to you, but we say in the Central Time Zone, 11 a.m. start, 11 a.m. start, 11 a.m. start.
That's noon
In
there.
Miami, it's noon. And I don't know that the noon starts and the 11 a.m. I'd like for somebody smarter than me to do scientific research on home teams in the East Coast on those games or home teams in the Central Time Zone.
I think we're both biased to the Central because we're used to those 11 a.m. SEC,
Right.
like JP
There's a
games.
giant difference in 11 a.m. and noon.
Yeah. And
It doesn't seem like it is. I don't know. I'm spitballing. I'm asking.
no, I think it's interesting because I just feel like we've seen, you've seen it whole lives following SEC. You see those 11 a.m. like no home field advantage, real
Yeah.
sleepy spots. Like few more to get through for sure.
Well, hold on. Can I throw one out?
You can
Because
throw
you're
out
probably
whatever.
going to get to it anyway.
Yeah, throw whatever you want.
There's my opinion of the teams, and then there's the gambling spot. Because the gambling spot says take South Carolina, right?
Yes.
The gambler in you screams take South Carolina.
Yes.
2.5 point road favorite, number 10 in the country. That you bet against that team every single time. I saw the last time South Carolina faced a really good defense. That was against Ole Miss.
Yes.
Scored 3 points.
Yes.
Texas A&M is defensively about as close as you're going. Like Ole Miss and Texas A&M are not far off defensively. Ole Miss is better in the front end. Texas A&M is better in the back end.
Yeah.
You would agree with that?
I would agree with that.
So if South Carolina, who's gotten to this spot before and is only 2.5 point favorite, I think I love the team of Texas A&M so much more, but the spot is South Carolina. What do you do?
I'm going South Carolina because I'm always just fading in this spot. I think it's a rat line. I also think, right now A&M's America's darling. How do they deal with success?
And I'll say this. That was a perfect storm for that quarterback the other night. That freshman quarterback, Marcel Reed, comes in. That was a perfect storm. He walked in. His first snap was first and goal from the 8. His second snap was first and 10 from the 18. That defense had 3 picks in the second half, put him in position to have short fields. He made, I think, 2. He legitimately completed 2 passes and led 4 touchdown drives. So I don't think that's happening again. Like, that was a perfect storm for him.
Yeah, Blake Baker, I thought LSU, maybe, he's done a great job all year, but, it wasn't like Wegman was entrenched as the starter. He played bad. He's been hurt. He's played bad. Didn't prepare at all. LSU didn't look like they'd ever seen his own read before.
It was weird. It was very weird.
And South Carolina runs that offense, too.
If I'm Alabama next week, every play is his own read.
Oh, with Milroe,
Yeah, every play.
Yeah, so I kind of like South Carolina. They, historically, South Carolina's good for one of these home upsets every year too. They got a home.
Yeah, but did they piss away their chance when they struggled in the second half and the refs kind of got them against LSU?
Maybe so, but I know I'm South Carolina or nothing in that game. Florida, Georgia, 2:30 CBS.
Love Florida.
Okay, do you? Okay, that was what I was getting to because it's like. Georgia has, you saw it against Auburn, you saw it against Mississippi State. They haven't had any interest in really covering or running up games at all this year. However, we did see their best effort of the season at Texas. They're off a bye. They take Florida seriously because it's a rivalry game, but they take Auburn seriously. It's the oldest rivalry in the
7
South.
games in, Georgia's got 4 elite halves this year. The second half against Clemson, second half against Alabama, the full game against Texas. They didn't play well against Mississippi State. They didn't play well against Auburn. They didn't play well against Kentucky. Now you're giving me 16.5 in a rivalry game at a neutral site with a team who's still desperate. And Florida, 4-3. Florida's not trash.
No, honestly, they're way better. What we saw week 1 against Miami, they've improved a ton.
They're not trash. They competed. They went to overtime with Tennessee.
Yeah,
like
you and me were both on that.
16.5 for a team that took Tennessee to overtime against a team who hasn't really done well against these underdogs. Give me 16.5 with Florida. I don't like it. I don't like betting on Billy Napier. I think he's one of the worst coaches in the country. But I think that roster is dragging him to a cover here.
Yeah, also, it's the old thing, too, where, it sucks Graham Mertz hurt his knee, but that 2-quarterback thing, when you got 2, you got none.
And you got to piss or get off the pot with his freshman, too.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and give it to him.
No, you got to, and then if Napier's going to save his job, he needs Lagway to do well and then have Lagway want to stay. That's his only real path to keeping it.
I don't think he has a path. I think because even if they cover this, they're losing. And then they got LSU and Ole Miss coming in.
They need to win one of those two.
I think he needs to go 2-1 against Georgia, LSU, and Ole Miss, and I don't see a path to do it.
Well, they got
I would fucking adore it, but I don't see it.
They do have Florida State at the end, so they should go bowling. And I mean, Florida's over/under was like 4.5. But
Yeah.
I know what you're saying. Some other games. I brought this one up to you because Brandon and I, I go annoy him in the morning because he's always the first person here. Because I will say you're always in the office, always working. This SMU Pitt game, kind of a fascinating game. Two real surprise teams.
Well, hold on now.
SMU isn't that surprising.
Correct. You told me in August on one of my
16-1.
walks. You told me you had SMU to win the ACC.
16-1.
Didn't surprise you.
No, they started out bad with the same thing with the 2-quarterback thing. You know, they had that awful effort against Nevada.
Awful.
But then they lost at home to BYU, which looked bad at the time, but now has aged really well.
Yeah.
And then since then, they've really stepped it up. They got away with one at Louisville when I felt like that was like the game they were supposed to lose. They should have lost to Duke last week. I mean, that was crazy. But this game, Pitt's undefeated. They've got a high-flying offense with Holstein, the old 5-star from Zachary in Louisiana, Bama transfer. They're chunking it. I told you this a minute ago, like yesterday. I said again, this over-under is 58.5. I think you got like a 41-35 game. I mean, I think it should be 65. This game in Dallas, I think this one goes up and down the field. And I just don't – I don't know. I thought that this total may be my favorite of the week.
One total I didn't like. My favorite total is God, my mind escapes me. Who's Memphis playing?
I like that too, UTSA.
Yeah.
61.5. I like the over in that one.
Yeah, Memphis UTSA, because that feels like 35-35 at some point in the second half.
Yeah, no, I agree with that one. That's an indoor game in San Antonio. Another one I'm looking at for sure. But this kind of, Ohio State, Penn State, easily the headliner.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Not a great slate of games, but that's often when college football surprises you.
Yeah. No, I agree. I got to ask, I actually like Mississippi State by 18.5 over UMass. I think
I don't pass.
You pass? You don't? I feel like this is just a game y'all are going to try to kill somebody.
I don't know if our quarterback's going to play.
Okay, well, that'll have something to do with it. Where do you think – can you find a win on the state? I mean, you're going to beat UMass.
Well, it has to be here. And listen, our last three games after that are at Tennessee, at Ole Miss, and home to Missouri.
Missouri's baby.
If Brady Cook is out, if Drew Pine's their quarterback, I'll take my chances. That's all I'm saying. That's obviously – I mean, there's no doubt if there's another win on the schedule outside of UMass, it has to be that one. It's not at Ole Miss unless you guys quit after Arkansas beat you. It's not at Tennessee. So what are you going to do? Is there something interesting in your phone?
No, I'm looking at DraftKings to make sure I ask about all the games.
Okay.
Yeah. Indiana 7.5 at Michigan State.
I like Michigan State a lot.
Okay. Indiana backup quarterback. Did play well.
Yeah, I just think, when you're Indiana, you're 8-0. It's very – these elite programs that go 11-1, 12-0 every year, it's really fucking hard to do that. It's really hard to be at your best 12 games in a row. And they've done it for 8 games. They haven't played anybody. Now you're going up against a volatile situation, a coach in his first year that needs a big win at Michigan State, a coach who's capable of a big win, a quarterback who's been up and down, and they're coming off a disheartening performance at their rival. Perfect spot for Michigan State.
Okay. I leaned Indiana, but I'm not like beating the drum. I just bet Indiana every week. I mean, I have the over-win total. I've been riding it. All right, Oregon 14.5 at Michigan. I wish this game was at Oregon, and if Oregon was minus 22.5, I'd just slam it because there'd be no way Michigan could keep up there. I don't know that they can keep up at home either, but maybe they can muck it up a little bit. Oregon's got a really good defensive line, though, and Michigan can't throw.
How's Michigan going to score?
I don't know because they can't throw.
Right. So it's either under or Oregon minus whatever it is.
Yeah, 14.5. It's over-under is 45.5. I could see that. Do you think Oregon's the best team right now? Seems like they're
so there's two different answers. Is Oregon the best team? I don't believe Oregon's the best team in the country. Does Oregon deserve to be number one because of the way they've handled their schedule? Yes, I would say yes.
Yeah, it seems like they've improved. The first
they're having the best season. I don't think they're the best team. I don't think they're better than Ohio State, who they beat.
No, I don't think they're better than Ohio State either.
Yeah.
No, I think Ohio State. I know they looked whatever against Nebraska. I still believe in them. North Carolina about 2.5 at Florida State. I have a theory on this game. Florida State 1-7, whatever they are. All these ACC teams just want to crap on them because of all the stuff they deal with. Florida State also, whatever they had left, they put it in that rivalry game. I mean, I know they got work, but they care about that. Why are they going to care? North Carolina's bad, though.
Are we really going to get to the end of the year and Florida State's going to go 1-11, though?
Who else they got? They got Florida left. I mean, I think they're. I don't know about 1-11.
Right. So they got to beat somebody, right? North Carolina's not. I don't know. That's a state far away because North Carolina or Florida State. I just can't imagine going to the window any week this year and saying, I'm putting my money on Florida State. I also can't see putting on North Carolina. I did it one time this year, and they got the absolute dog fucking shit beat out of them by JMU.
Oh, wow.
That's the one time I had Carolina this year.
All right, one take, like I said, I do give, we give each other crap when rightfully so, but I'm going to pump your tires in a good way on this. You stayed the course on Clemson after week 1. You said before the season, Clemson playoffs, they got the shit kicked out of them, 34-3. You said still a good path to the playoff. 10-point favorite at home against Louisville. Look, I know Miami's undefeated right now, but Clemson's the best team in the ACC. I don't think it's even
by a significant margin.
Yeah, Miami's there's Miami. Cam Ward's awesome. I'm not saying he's not, but their defense sucks. I don't know. I feel like there's some smoke and mirrors. I like Clemson by 10 at home against Louisville. I don't think Louisville's that good.
Everybody's point about Clemson is, well, they haven't beaten a team with a winning record. They're not letting these teams breathe. They're Clemson's coming out of the locker room and going straight to 49 or 50 points, and nothing's stopping them. They're just going straight to it. Klubnik is playing well. They got some good young receivers that are finally starting to pop through. The young defense that he played last year and they took lumps as a freshman is really coming through. I love Clemson. I said before the season they're going to lose to Georgia, then they're going to go 11-1, and everything is lining up for that to happen. And I love Clemson to win this game by 21 points.
What happens? I'm curious. Okay, tiebreaker-wise.
I don't know.
Okay, yeah, because I was going to say, because now that all these conferences are so big and everybody doesn't play each other, like what if SMU, Miami, and Clemson all go undefeated in the ACC?
I have no fucking idea.
I know, because it could happen. It's crazy.
I think we're also in a situation where some funky shit can happen in the Big Ten. I don't know it off the top of my head. And then the SEC, we might have 5 teams go 10-2.
Yeah, if Ohio State beats, like let's say Indiana just loses at Ohio State, and Ohio State and Indiana both have, I guess Ohio State would get in. Oregon would need to lose once because Ohio State would, okay, that makes sense. A couple other quick ones.
But Penn State could just lose one as well. Okay.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about Penn State. I like Iowa -3 against Wisconsin a lot.
I have no opinion on that whatsoever.
I just think Wisconsin, that one hurt last week. Sold out crowd, had the lead. Blew
it's at Iowa, too.
At Iowa. This is a sobering.
Backup quarterback still.
Yeah, sobering trip to Iowa coming off that loss last week. Iowa's got a good running game.
Iowa can score a little bit. More than you think they can. Yeah, Caleb Johnson's terrific.
I want to ask about Kentucky, Tennessee, too, because I think we had different opinions on this. Kentucky's falling off the wagon, though. I mean, bad loss to Auburn, bad loss at Florida. Tennessee's a full 16.5-point favorite, though, with an over-under of only 45.5, which actually makes me like Kentucky. I don't know where the points are going to come from, but I've said
Tennessee's offense kind of stinks.
Tennessee and Ole Miss are like the same team.
Yeah,
I mean they both
played you in. Well, I guess they played you in Oxford. Now they're playing them in Knoxville.
But it's like defensive lines are really good, defenses are good. The offenses score 50 or 60 when they play MAC teams.
Yeah.
But when they've played good teams, you've seen them struggle. That's also Tennessee losing at Arkansas concerns me about Ole Miss this week. I just feel like this is a lot of points.
But Tennessee does have Dylan Sampson. So if nothing else is working, you can. That's how they beat Alabama. They just said, "Fuck it, we're not even going to try Nico. We're just going to give it to Dylan Sampson," and that's how they just ran through them. It's a stay away. But if I had to do anything, Kentucky feels like they're dead on the trail. Feels like they're just asleep at the wheel. I would go Tennessee. Can you see that game being like 28-6? Just
I could 24-10,
yeah,
27-10.
Yeah.
No, I could see that. But that's what I got for this week. Other stuff. I guess the college football show got taped. It'll air later, but big announcement on that. Looking forward to.
I'm not looking forward to it at all.
Well, I feel like you'll look forward to it more if you're right about this game Saturday.
Going to be a big day regardless. I'm going to go.
All right. Thanks for joining us, Brandon. Appreciate you coming in here once a week. Mostly sports, Yak today. I mean, you can't miss Brandon Quick Picks. He's on every single show. But we appreciate him giving some time this morning. We're going to bring Tyler Moody back. Thanks to Brandon Walker. As always, check out DraftKings. DraftKings King of the Court promotion going. They extended it to Saturday, giving away $1 million in free bets. Just pick the person in the NBA who you think is going to lead that night in points, rebounds, assists, and if you hit it, you get to split free plays with whoever else had them. And then it's been an awesome promotion. Unfortunately, I hadn't hit it yet, but just don't forget it, man. DraftKings, so many fun promotions. We're proud DK partners. Moody, you about to come back? Awesome.
Yeah, I'm here. I was going to go ahead and give you the tiebreakers for the ACC. So if all teams finish up tied, they'll have to go all the way down to the 5th tiebreaker in order to break the tie, and that's going to be winning percentage against common opponents, or against the entire conference, actually. And so right now, Miami has the best common opponent record or overall record, whatever. Clemson second, and then SMU would be third. So SMU would be the team that's out if all three go undefeated.
Okay, well, that makes sense. Pitt's undefeated too. I mean, I know that's the same thing, though. If Pitt beats SMU, I think that's the same thing on the tiebreaker. I don't know if Pitt plays Clemson or Miami. I know SMU doesn't play Miami or Clemson, and Miami and Clemson don't play. And that's like a weird new scenario thing. These super conferences, you don't play everyone. So we're going to have all these sticky tiebreakers. The SEC thing could be nuts, too. Right now, A&M 5-0, the only undefeated team. A&M has at South Carolina, at Auburn, and Texas at home left. Moody, I know you're not as in, but you follow college football a little bit. This at South Carolina one just stinks to me. I mean, we talked about it with Brandon. 2.5-point road favorite on the road at night, right when A&M thinks they're like elite. I don't know. This one, if they win this, I'll give them a lot more credit than National will, because this is like a spot that's a trip-up spot.
I've watched a lot of Texas A&M games over the course of my life because I grew up an Aggie fan. Like, grew up in Texas. Everybody was Longhorn fans, and I guess just to be a contrarian, I started liking Texas A&M. I have seen them let down in some spots where they should have won. They had everything in front of them. Even during the Johnny Manziel era, there was times when they had everything in front of them, and they would just slip up and choke it away. I could see it happening. I don't think it's going to happen. I think this is a different Texas A&M team. I think they're going to go on the road and take care of business. But I wouldn't be surprised to see them slip up and watch everything just kind of, fall out of their lap here, because that has fallen into their lap. The way the schedule is broken down, they've taken care of business. Of course, you got to win your games, but it couldn't have broken down much better for A&M. And I mean, man, this would be a real choke spot for them if they do lose.
Yeah, they're in a spot though with they have one loss to Notre Dame. They can lose one more game and make the playoffs. Like, they could lose one. So
Texas is the one that we would all expect them to possibly lose here.
Yeah, but that game's at home. First game since 2011.
I do think Texas is a better team than them.
Yeah. Well, I just want, I think the best scenario, I mean, regardless if Texas and Texas A&M each have one loss or two losses, I think the most fun scenario, Moody, would be if Texas and Texas A&M both have two losses and the winner makes the playoffs and the loser's out for that game. I think that would be just the most on fire. And that's going to be the most expensive ticket in college football this year. First time they played in 13 years could be for a playoff spot. Texas' first year in the SEC. I can't imagine A&M, nothing they'd love more than to knock them out of the playoff the first year.
Can you imagine the atmosphere in Kyle Field for that game? I mean, it was crazy for the LSU game. It looked insane on TV. It's going to be even better for the Texas game. I mean, especially if that scenario were to play out where a trip to the college football playoff is on the line for that game. Man, talk about one of the greatest potential games of all time as far as like a college football atmosphere is concerned.
Yeah, Thanksgiving night too. Shout out to them for taking Thanksgiving night. So the Egg Bowl is Black Friday afternoon. I'm happy about that.
Y'all talked about Cam Ward. He's now 3-1 to win the Heisman. Travis Hunter has moved back into first place at plus 260. Dylan Gabriel at plus 260 as well. Ashton Genty has moved down to 4-1. What's your thoughts right now? And everybody else is like 20-1 plus. So it's a 4-man race right now for the Heisman. Who do you have in front of them?
My thoughts right now are I'm mad I didn't listen to friend of the program, Todd Furman of Bet the Board, when he came on here, because he said the week of Ohio State-Oregon, he said the bet to make in Ohio State-Oregon is Dylan Gabriel 18-1 Heisman in case Oregon wins this game. And I didn't do it, and he told me, and I'm pissed. That's my thoughts. I missed my spot. Because that's I don't know that any of those top guys have value. The odds aren't good enough. Just missed my opportunity there with Gabriel, 18-1. That was 100% the spot. But I think Gabriel. I like Gabriel. I just, the Miami thing, though, you never know. And the Heisman, Ward deserves it for getting this team to be undefeated. Because, like I said it a minute ago, and I'll say it again, they're not an elite football team. Their defense is slow. They're out of position. They allow a ton of points. And even last week they ran the ball more with Martinez and played defense because Florida State couldn't score, but their receivers couldn't separate against Florida State. Like, they're not that talented. You think of you think of all the athletes and the speed. This team doesn't really have that. Cam Ward's kind of carrying them, and so I think as of right now, he's the guy.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. Watching Miami play, he is the engine that makes that entire thing run, because that defense is bad, but he's so much fun to watch. I don't know that I've seen a college quarterback since Johnny Manziel that I enjoy watching play the game of football as much as Cam Ward. His comfortability, how he just flows in the pocket. He looks like he's playing in slow motion, and then he just throws some dimes. I mean, it's impressive to watch him play the game. I have not seen another Cam Ward play the game before. He is as unique of a quarterback as I've seen, and I really, really do enjoy watching him play.
It sort of reminds me of Kyler Murray a little bit. I mean, obviously Murray runs more and it's faster, but they have like the same kind of like delivery a little bit. But man, I just got to give Cam credit. NFL wise, Cam and Shador Sanders are right now the top 2 NFL draft quarterback prospects. Do you like Cam more than Shador?
I will say I do think Shador is more accurate. Whenever Shador has time, he spins the ball really well. But he makes some bad decisions as
so
well.
Does Cam, though. Cam turns it over.
Cam, yeah, they both are. I think both of them will have growing pains in the NFL. They're going to go as like 2 of the top 4 to 5 picks for sure. But I think that really won't be warranted for the value they're going to give you in the long run. I think there'll be hiccups with both of them. But, they're both NFL caliber quarterbacks. They're just not fully polished.
All right, happy Halloween today, Moody. You a Halloween guy? Any fun Halloween memories?
I'm not a Halloween guy, bro. I'm really not. I mean, I was a little bit in college, but I don't get into it too much. That's just me personally.
I think I'm just like, I don't know. I just love like an excuse to dress up, the freak flag fight thing, and also just so many. I mean, Halloween. People always like hate on Halloween and New Year's, like, oh, they're not great. They're music holidays. And unfortunately, Panic right now not playing, but I just always go to the Panic Halloween runs, and they're like my favorite. All the New Orleans ones through the years are like some of my favorite memories. And so I always love it. My nun costume. I used to rock a nun costume every year. That kind of was like one of my trademarks. I remember the only time I was ever in Chicago, I was here for 2011, rocking the nun, like the cigar, was one of my favorites. Brought it back in Vegas in 2017. But yeah, I don't know. I love Halloween, and we've got a yak costume contest at 12:30 today with the 500 first place prize. I'm rocking the U.S. Blues kind of at the start, but this is actually kind of like the fake costume. I'm going to Chicago.
What are you exactly right now?
I'm just like going Uncle Sam U.S. Blues theme.
Okay.
Like Grateful Dead theme. Like top hat and kind of feeling patriotic. We got a big election next week, I mean, not an opinion on it or anything, but just, feeling some patriotism. But I'm going for the real costume. I'm going to the Chicago costume shop after this to get decked out for this yak thing. It's 500 to first, and I don't know that I can win because we've got a lot of more creative, talented people than me in this office, but it's not going to be for a lack of effort.
There you go. We got a couple questions over here in the chat, and if y'all have anything to wrap up the show, let us know. Our boy D's saying, do we have any touchdown scores for this weekend? I know Mintz and I both agree on one, and that is Taysom Hill anytime touchdown plus 225. It is my favorite touchdown score of the week, especially for the value you're getting. I do think there are people that are more likely to get into the end zone, but as far as the value is concerned, Taysom Hill plus 225 feels like one of my favorite bets of the week, Mintz.
Yeah, and we're running back the Stool Viver end zone crown. And last week I did David Njoku, and he scored at plus 320. I also love Taysom Hill, and man, I don't know if it's out yet. I even like Taysom Hill to score twice.
Yes, it is out. It'll be plus 1,800. I had him at plus 2,500 when he scored 2 touchdowns earlier in the season. They have
against Atlanta, and he didn't even make it through the first half, and he did
it. He scored those 2 touchdowns, and then he got hurt, but he did work for us, and that's what I appreciate about Taysom Hill. When he's in the lineup, he's going to do work for you.
Yeah, hopefully Derek Carr goes. They're saying he might go this week. If he goes, the Saints will score more points. That's for sure, because they haven't been scoring many. Any other? I'm trying to think about other touchdown guys this week. I think Bijan Robinson, his odds are going to be terrible. The touchdown score bet thing, okay, I love that DraftKings does it, and it's a fun thing to bet on.
It's 215, by the way.
Yeah, you just said the problem. You got to find these guys like Hill and Njoku and go deep, because the odds on them are tough when it's like minus, when they're not even money to score touchdowns. I mean, that's tough, but I think Bijan should score. What's Tyler Algier to score? Because he could. Dallas's
plus
run
150.
Yeah, it's still not that great. Dallas's run defense is horrible, though. And there's going to be a lot of points. It's the highest over-under of the week at 52.5. So that's one I'm looking at. But I think Taysom Hill's my guy on the touchdown thing. And I mentioned earlier, DraftKings extended their King of the Court till Saturday. Fun promotion for sure. I still hadn't won it, but it's great.
I'm also on Devon Achane at plus 140. He's one of my favorite plays of the week from the DFS standpoint. The only issue is they love to give it to Mostert sometimes around the goal line. He vultured a couple of times last week. I had a freaking parlay, 2 different parlays, in fact, where all I needed was a second touchdown from Achane to get into the end zone. Didn't happen. Mostert vultured him, but Mostert and Achane are both plus 140. I think you could take both of them and they could get in, but I like Achane more. I think he's going to have a monster game. Eric says he likes Joe Mixon to get in the end zone this weekend.
Yeah. My only thing with that, I
can see
think, I think Mixon. Okay, that's Thursday night game tonight. Mentioning that, I like under 42 a lot in this game tonight. The Houston offense, C.J. Stroud hadn't been throwing the ball that well, especially on the road. Without Nico and Diggs, passing game is going to not be, continue to struggle. Jets' run defense is bad, and we've all seen the Jets' offense. Houston's 6-2 because they win with their defense. I think this is, and it's a short week thing. I mean, this feels like one of those ugly Thursday night games. I like Mixon's yardage maybe more than I like his touchdown because it's hard. I don't like betting touchdown props in games when I don't think a lot of points are going to be scored. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, I get that completely.
One prop I want to mention going in. All right, whenever Tua plays quarterback, Achane's receiving yards is insane because they use him on those wheel routes and stuff. He catches long passes. Devon Achane is 2-1 over 50 yards receiving, plus 330 over 60, plus 500 over 70. I mean, I like them all.
Yeah, I can see that.
I mean, even over. Dude, I know this. Go ahead. No, I was saying even over 9. I know 90 sounds crazy for a running back, but it's 12-1. I mean, it could happen because the Bills run that too high safety look. Tyreek Hill hadn't had over 80 yards in his last 6 games against Buffalo. They clearly have a strategy to take him out, and Tua throws to Achane. That's what's going to be open underneath. So that's one I'm looking at.
Yeah, I love Achane all the way across the way. I think I could see him getting tons of touches in the passing game between the tackles. I think he has to be the X factor in this game if Miami wants to win. So I would just rip him across the board. Rushing yards, receiving yards. I like the over in both regards, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and the DraftKings Fantasy Football Factory Pod will be out. Check that out. Pardon my take. AWL League, $5. Play with us. Go ahead, Mitty.
Yeah, the chat saying Eric in particular saying he's taking Tank Dell and not Joe Mixon. He's on Tank Dell.
Yeah, the only thing with Dell is, I mean, the Jets do have a very, very elite corner that might be on him. So I don't know. Dell will get targets. That Hutchinson guy's looked okay. He's the number 4 receiver, number 19. He might be like a sneaky guy to have a game tonight.
I've got one that's pretty sneaky, I think. I'm going to play him in my DFS leagues. He's he's kind of my sleeper of the week, if you will. It's Devon Vele, receiver for the Broncos. Whenever the Broncos have played teams that run a lot of zone coverage, Vele's had huge games. He had a 9-catch game earlier in the season. I think he has a career game against Baltimore because the Broncos are really going to need to be throwing in the second half of that game. I like Vele at plus 330 to get into the end zone here. I think he's going to have a breakout game against the Ravens. So that's kind of a deep sleeper one for me.
I like that. Moody going deep on him. The knowledge is always good for Moody, and that's why the Fantasy Pod is so much fun. I'm looking at it too, see if there's any other ones I like before we get out of here. I also want to mention one thing on Wake Up Mintzy next week. We're Wednesday and Thursday next week. Moody got a fun commitment for next Thursday. Georgia Ole Miss next weekend. Aaron Murray going to rejoin us before Georgia Ole Miss next Thursday. So
nice.
that'll be really, really fun. The all-time SEC leading passer and legendary Georgia Bulldog. I've got a really fun. This is a wild. I have a speaking engagement in Savannah, Georgia Monday night, and I'm traveling back Tuesday. I'm speaking at the Savannah, Georgia Quarterback Club that was founded in 1946. I have to wear a blazer for it, but I'm pumped about it. I mean, they're paying me to come, speak and stay in Savannah, Georgia. I hadn't been there since 2004. I was in a wedding there, but that'll be a lot of fun on Monday, and then I'll be back to Tuesday's going to be just bananas in this country with the election stuff. Anyway, I think that's all people.
That it is. By the way, chat was calling you MAGA Mintzy.
Man, there ain't. I mean, I'm just patriotic.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I'm just
but the chat. I mean, MAGA Mintzy. Wow, that's a. I mean, I do have a look. When I got rehired by Barstool, I did get Dave put out those make Barstool great again red caps. I was wearing. I thought that was pretty funny, and that I was wearing for Rough and Rowdy. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not big on sharing the political beliefs in public forums. I'll let the millions and millions of other people run their mouths on that. Other NFL stuff. I'm just glancing through it before we get out of here. You said you think Caleb Williams is a big game.
I do think Caleb Williams has a big game. He's probably going to be my DFS quarterback. I'm kind of going back and forth between him and Matthew Stafford because I think the Rams are going to light it up this week as well. I just think that, especially coming off last week, it was a poor showing offensively for the Bears and Caleb Williams. Everybody's going to be kind of down on him. So I'm going the contrarian view and rolling with Caleb Williams. I think he's going to light up Arizona's defense. Arizona's defense has been slightly better the last few weeks, but they're still not good by any means. I think Rome Odunze has a pop-off game. You could talk me into Cole Kmet as well, but I like Caleb Williams for where he's currently going. I think he's 6,100. He's definitely below value as far as the rest of the quarterbacks are concerned. So I think Caleb Williams shows up, balls out. I like the over in that game, even though the Bears' defense is good, and I do worry a little bit about the Arizona offense turning the ball over. I like the over in that contest, and I really do think Caleb Williams has kind of a bounce-back week after the poor showing last week, and he lights up the Arizona secondary. Odunze, Kmet, I could definitely see DJ Moore popping off in this one. I'm liking the Bears passing attack for this week only.
All right, last game I want to mention before we get out of here. Lions and Packers. Lions 3.5-point favorite at Green Bay, over under 48.5. Jordan Love said yesterday he's not practicing, but he's not ruling out playing. He's he wants to play. This is a big game at home. Is there merit to taking Green Bay plus 3.5 now in case he somehow goes? Because that's what happened last week. You could have done that with the Commanders. They were plus 3 or whatever all week, and then Jaden ended up going. Kind of feels like a similar spot. I like under 48.5 in that a lot too. I know I saw you just mention that. I know that's a funny
I gave it
thing.
out yesterday.
Yeah, but with Malik Willis, they're going to run the ball and shorten the game. I need to see the weather report for Green Bay, but Jared Goff's not as good outside. But, I mean, Detroit's offense has obviously been on fire, and, I took under 45.5 last week, and Detroit beat it by themselves. So, got some bag on my face. But this just feels like a game Detroit's going to try to run the ball. Green Bay's going to try to run the ball outdoors. I think it's like a grind-out game.
And you're forgetting the most important factor here. The Green Bay defense is freaking good. Not enough people are putting respect on this Green Bay defense right now. They're good at every level. They get after the quarterback. They play very solid on the back end in the secondary. Like, this is a really good defense. And if you look at last week's game against the Titans, like, everything went right for the Lions. There was turnovers by Mason Rudolph. They ran back a punt, I'm pretty sure. Like, they were just finding points in every single way imaginable. And so the public is going to have that in their mind. Everybody's going to be thinking over for the Lions. And they're going to disregard the fact that this Packers defense is very good. I think this is going to be a lower scoring affair. I could see Green Bay still winning this game. I know that sounds crazy. I think their defense is going to absolutely change this game. I may be eating my words on Monday, but I think Green Bay's defense shows up, shows out, and makes this a very competitive football game. I like the Packers plus 3.5, but I love the under more.
I like the Packers as a team still too. I feel like people. I mean, they're 15-1 Super Bowl right now. I know they were 22-1 before, so the 15's kind of tough. But they're going to get better as the year goes on. They always do. They always have more of a home field when it gets cold in November and December. They should have made the NFC Championship last year in Love's first year. I mean, even if they don't win this division, I feel like they're a team that could. I mean, they went on the road and won at Dallas last year and almost won at San Francisco. Like, they could get hot in the playoffs and be a force.
They're a team that would scare me if I'm anybody in the NFL because they can beat you in a lot of different ways. Like, they have a good running game with Josh Jacobs. Obviously, when Love is healthy, they can throw it around really well. Like, Romeo Doubs is starting to emerge as a top-tier receiver, in my personal opinion. We've seen what they can do with Reed, the way they manufacture him looks. Like, this is a really good team, and I keep coming back to it. I think they're one of the top 3 defenses in the NFL, in my personal opinion. I mean, what I saw them do a couple weeks ago with that pass rush was just so impressive. I think that they're going to be there. The question is Jordan Love going to be healthy for the next few weeks? Because they need him to be playing at 100%. And if he plays on Sunday, I don't know if that's the best idea, to be honest with you, man.
No, I don't think so either. I think you sit him out Sunday because you got a bye week next week. And they're also in a – yeah, and the other thing, too, is like, I mean, is there a path for them? Even if they get hot, this division is going to be so hard to win because Minnesota and Detroit have – Minnesota has 2 losses. Detroit just has 1. I mean, even if they go all out, I don't know that they can win this division. And, it's almost like you'd rather have them healthy peaking toward the playoffs. But, look, it matters so much to win your division. In Green Bay, home field and playoffs for them, with it being so cold, they got one of the best home fields when it's cold. So, I don't know. It's an interesting debate. But Jordan Love's saying he's not – I don't know. I'd take him more seriously when he's saying that he may play. And we saw Jaden Daniels did this exact same thing last week.
Well, the fact that he's saying that shows Green Bay understands how important the game is. So Jordan Love having the understanding of how big the game is, the whole organization realizes how big this game is. Everybody's going to show up for this one on the Green Bay side. I truly think that, and so that's the reason I like them plus 3.5, and I just think the defense, regardless if Love plays, is going to be in this game. But I am worried that Jordan Love starts, plays a quarter, gets in a situation where he's trying to avoid a sack, and re-injures the groin or further strains the groin, because that is one that
he should. Thinking about it out loud, he should sit here. You know, just them having the bye week behind it, why risk it? Groins like linger. That's not an injury that, you need to be careful with that.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. All right, we've got a couple other questions here. The chat's saying they're going to go with Dalton Schultz over 4.5 catches tonight.
That makes sense. They could throw to the tight end more with the receiving thing bad. I'm worried about Stroud tonight. I don't know,
Schultz,
man.
Anytime touchdown.
I think Mixon's going to run a lot. That's what I think's coming.
Also, they're asking, would you start Jacobs if Love is out with Nick Chubb on the bench? I think I'm starting Jacobs over Chubb right now, regardless.
Chargers defense is good.
Chargers defense is good, and I also own Nick Chubb in a couple leagues. I was expecting this. I thought that the Browns were going to be better, and whenever Nick Chubb came back, he was going to be like ready to take off in fantasy. Especially around this week. This is about the week you expect him to start showing up. But I don't know yet. I need to see it first before I'm going to insert him into my lineup. I like Josh Jacobs. I would have had Josh Jacobs starting most weeks right now. He's been really solid the last few. But yeah, especially for this week, I think it's Jacobs right now.
Also, over under 6.5 points higher in Lions Packers too. Just these Chargers games, every game's 17-13. There's not like a lot of fantasy value when they take the field. Their defense is great. And you said it too before. I feel like Jameis could have a 3 or 4 pick game Sunday. Right when everybody's pumped and buys in, he still threw a bunch that could have gotten picked last week playing the Chargers. I feel like this feels like a reality check for Cleveland.
Yeah, we were sitting around with the boys last night, kind of joking around, and we were laughing at how many times Jameis has done this, where he plays elite one week and then he plays like complete dog shit the next week. I'm cheering for Jameis. We've talked about this. Like, he's just one of the best dudes in the NFL. He's so much fun to cheer for. I hope that he goes out and balls out. But the track record says that he's going to be inconsistent. He backs up his good games with bad games, and the Chargers are very good, very smart defensively. I think they're going to throw a lot of unique looks at Jameis, and Jameis sometimes doesn't make the correct reads, and he throws some interceptions. I would not be surprised to see a 2-interception plus game here from Jameis. Again, we were looking for his interceptions. They weren't up yesterday. I
wish they had alternate interception props, because they do the half interception where you can bet over or under. But I wish I could bet over 2.5 at like 5 or 8 to 1 here. They don't have that though. Jameis
Winston over half an interception is minus 175.
That tells you everything right there. That's not a lot of value. I wish I could bet over 1.5 or over 2.5. That would be the value.
According to DraftKings, he is the most likely quarterback to throw an interception this week. Couldn't agree more, Vegas.
Fair. Well, we're going to get out of here. Thanks to Brandon Walker for joining us. Happy Halloween, everybody. Shout out Moody. Like I said, Wednesday and Thursday next week, because I'm going to be out Tuesday traveling back from Savannah. I'm actually flying to NOLA tomorrow night, and I'm going to play in a poker tournament this weekend. It'll be fun to be down there, and then I'm running over to Savannah Monday. Should get some good video from my Savannah Quarterback Club speech. Rare to rock a blazer, and I'm excited about it. I appreciate them for inviting me. And shout out Moody. Shout out Brandon Walker. Join us at the Yak for the Barstool Halloween costume contest this afternoon. And happy Halloween. Let your freak flags fly. Man, I love fall. The leaves are changing, football, and Stella Blue coffee. And this season, maple pumpkin pie. But my morning routine would not be complete without Dumpkin Spice Dude Wipes.
Oh, Mintzy, let it rip!
Cheers, furry fellas. Coffee that fuels you, wipes that clean you.